Hey friends, Cherie here. Welcome back to the channel, Gardening at Home with Cherie. Well, I'm down in my garden this weekend. I need to do a lot of garden cleanup. I'm going to be going through, pulling a lot of the things that I planted back in May that have gone to seed or are ready to harvest. Just want to show you guys here. This is one of the many strawberry plants that I grew from seed. Planted this with you all and shared it on a video, which I will link to if you haven't seen that, if you want to see all the varieties of strawberries that I'm growing from seed. But this is the Red Wonder Wild Strawberry. I got these seeds from Baker Creek, rareseed.com. And look at the blooms that are forming. They're tiny, but they're fruiting. This is very exciting. But anyway, I'm down here cleaning up. I have a lot of things that need to be further trellised and staked. I have some final mulching to do down here. I do not mulch my garden beds. I mulch my walkways in between the garden beds. When I first set it up, I just had like the black tarp down, and then I decided to mulch it because I just liked the way it looked better, and I found that it was a little slippery sometimes when you come in here. So I did that kind of right away when I was setting it up. So I have some things in this bed that need to be staked. I have some things that need to be removed. And like I said, I need to come in and finish getting my mulch, spread, replaced. But this is why I got to really get in here. I didn't even notice this. And this is one of my favorite squashes as a variety. I usually harvest this when it's smaller, but it's one of my absolute favorite squash to grow here, Minnesota Zone 4. You can see here we're in the second week in July, and I already have a fruit that big. So I really do like to grow summer squash varieties that I've found grow and produce fruit early and abundantly for me. So I do this, like this is coming from all the way back here. So I need to get in here and kind of manage these vines as well after I clear out these old plants. And some of these, like this callaloo, I left as a trap crop for aphids, and they've kind of done their task. There's still some aphids on there, you'll see. But I'm going to get those out because the aphids are kind of seem to be dwindling down. But yeah, get this all cleaned up and then do a lot of harvesting. So this is an area that I thought I was just going to be cleaning out and mulching the pathway, but clearly I have some harvest there. So I'm going to carefully look through all my squash. I know that some of these are ready for a second harvest. This was my first squash variety that I harvested, a variety of the patted pan squash. And I have this one and another one and a back plant that's ready. And there's just a lot more coming. I have a lot of leaves. I need to thin these leaves out some. And so yeah, this is going to be a work weekend, a cleanup weekend. Like here, I got to get this all cleaned up and mulched so that I can also walk easily through my paths. Then I have these areas down here. This bed, for example, has two new to me squash varieties. And boy, look at the size of these. Don't mind my nails. I'm playing around. I got some new nail polish colors in, and I was just testing them out to see which one I want to do. But anyway, the size of these leaves on this. And so I need to get these also properly staked because they are fruiting or at least flowering. And so I want to make sure that they are properly staked up so that the fruit can grow and get pollinated and the buds are exposed. So I want to do that sooner than later. And then I have a lot of spring crops in these beds. Like here, I don't want this in this path. It needs to be on the fence. So it's one of those kind of weekends. You got to take some time. This is like kind of mid-season-ish for me. You got to take some time to get in here and clean things up. I'm going to get the last of these red cabbages out. Some of it's looking worse for wear anyway. I think I'm just going to pull those. I have a lot of those seeds, and the plants that are in here, like the cauliflower and the Brussels, are getting so big that I'll probably just put some small lettuce or something in there. I'm going to go ahead and pull these mustards that I was saving, because I did save a couple other plants that have produced a ridiculous quantity of seeds. So I'm just going to be cleaning this all up, leaving in the brassicas and the squash. And then I'm probably just in the front going to sow just some simple lettuce. And then moving over to here, same thing. I still have radishes in here. Some of them look like they have gone to flower. So I'll see what kind of roots are left in there. And I'm gonna harvest the last of my turnips from in here. Get those out. The leaves are not looking that great at this stage. So early in the season, I eat the leaves a lot, but now I'm just gonna be probably composting those leaves and getting my roots. And yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff in here. But again, just kind of neatening up, pulling out and staking. This is another, I think there are 4 different varieties of squash in these 2 beds. And so yeah, look here. There's another radish. I think this is that Cincinnati radish that's going to seed. But I don't need to save any seeds of any plants in any of these beds, because I have a lot of, you get a pack of brassicas or radishes and you'll get a couple hundred seeds per pack. So I'm just going to clean this out so I can start some fresh food to grow this last half of my garden season. There's another squash. I'm going to get her. She's kind of small, but I'm going to go ahead and get her because I do want to clean some of this up. And like I said, I have so many growing. I think I have another one on the other side. Let me go check that. Well, that one's in a good position. It's not low to the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and let that one continue to grow. Early on, the plants will shoot out blossoms and fruit will grow kind of low to the ground, and then they'll start to grow further up. So I like to get those ones off the ground as early as possible so they don't rot, and so that, if especially we've been having a lot of rain, which draws in more slugs and stuff, and they will eat your plants. And then same thing over here. It's time to pull out all this callaloo that I left as a trap crop. And then I have a lot of staking to do as tomatoes are forming. This is the get stuffed tomato. Or no, is that? No, there's something else that's coming from here. So that needs to be staked back here. So yeah, I gotta get in here and do all that. This is the get stuffed up here. So anyway, we will work to get this cleaned, and then I'll show you what these areas, and I do have actually some more remaining things that I'm going to be transplanting. I'm gonna do some more squash. I have a lot of squash that I know I can, that'll grow and fruit within these next couple months that I have to harvest, and then lots of greens and more flowers. So yeah, let me get to work and I'll show you at the end of this cleanup what I have harvested. This is a really good size. I keep saying I'm gonna weigh my food this season. I did a few seasons back on my old gardening channel, and I keep forgetting. I'm gonna try to remember to start weighing this harvest, just for my own sake. I think it's kind of motivating to see like how much food are you actually growing and harvesting, right? I give my don't little by little, I pour out my heart. Little by little, I'm gonna go everywhere and be myself, I swear. I'm gonna give my all, 'cause I don't care if people will stop and stare. Let me fly, let me fly, let me fly into the sky. Let me be all that I can be. Let me fly, let me fly, let
Let me fly into the sky. Let me be all I can be. Let me be all I can be.
So this one unfortunately looks like it split or got damaged from all the rain, or maybe just improper pollination. I don't know. Some crazy things going on. I don't know. This could be a weather-related issue. Like I said, I've never seen this in the garden before, but you know, it's been wet, hot, cold, dry. So we're gonna compost that one. All right, I'm gonna pull a turnip with you all, and then I'm gonna just get to work through the rest of this bed, the rest of these 2 beds, because I don't have a lot of time. And again, I'm going to show you at the end then what all I get that's salvageable. And then we'll do a separate video resetting these beds. Okay, so I got a couple, 2 good-sized turnips and then 2 small ones. They will get eaten. A lot of the other ones were, you know, they were smaller than these, so I just tossed them. I'm going to resow those. This is a variety that grows really quickly. Usually I can harvest within about 45 days this size. So I'm going to sow more of those because I do like that turnip. And then actually what I really love about turnips is turnip greens. And so I'm going to sow a bunch just for the greens in a separate container. All right, I'm going to take this inside, and then I'm just going to get to pulling out and cleaning up the rest of the bed so I can be as efficient as possible before the mosquitoes come out. And then again, I'll share what, if anything else, I get that's salvageable from those beds. And I'll show you what it looks like after I get everything out. All right, friends, so we're going to attack this 3rd bed. I'm very excited to see that the basil is growing really beautifully here because I do need some more basil. And then this here are more radishes that need to be pulled out and resown. I'll probably wait till later in the season to sow more of these varieties. I have some other things I'm going to sow here, I think, that will hopefully do a little bit better in the heat. So yeah, so let me get this bed cleared up. And same thing, I have some new squash varieties growing here that need to get trellised on the fence so they don't take over. That's my horseradish. And then yeah, I showed you in other videos all the other things that are in this bed, all these onions. But yeah, we're gonna do some cleanup so that what's here and still growing well can continue to do so, and I can get some fresh food out of all this precious space. All the different tomato plants are getting so big. Every year I grow dozens of varieties. I still have all my old footage from my old gardening channel of Just at Home with Cherie. They're all private. Most of them are private, but I still have all of them there with all the comments and things. I think I'm going to make them available on this new platform I'm working on. And it'll be nice because you can rewatch those. You can see, you know, what I grew my first 3 years here. And I shared a lot of great information and varieties in all those videos over the 3 years, I think. Lots of cooking things, yeah. So I will make those available in some format in the future for sure. But I'm regrowing a lot of the tomatoes that I grew my very first year, a lot of the okra that I grew the very first year that did well. So yeah, I'll share those. All right, let me get back to work. This is called the early prolific straight neck squash, and you can see here, I think this will be a prolific plant. Look at all those little babies in there. I'm going to cut back a couple leaves just to make sure all my fruit is visible and readily visible to my pollinators. And then hopefully in few days, I'll be able to harvest the first one. All right, so I was over here and I noticed that the first round of tomatoes are ripening. The cherry tomatoes for me always come first. I'm growing dozens of varieties of cherry tomatoes. I can't wait to show you all of them. A lot of them are actually new varieties for me this year. And then I'm growing my old and true ones. A lot of them I'm growing to save seeds from this year, to build up my seed bank and to have lots of seeds to share with others, especially on these ones that I know grow really, really well here in Minnesota Zone 4 and produce a ton of food. I went back through my journals and I found all of those because it's we're gonna need to grow a lot of food as quickly as possible, very likely, and so it's just great to have seeds for myself and seeds to share with my good garden friends. So yeah, doing that, and I can distribute those seeds to my favorite local community gardens as well. And if you were with me when I was starting this little row of grow bags, I shared with you that I had a bunch of extra onions that didn't go into the raised beds, and so I just kind of dispersed them throughout the grow bags so that I would have a bunch to just pull early. So this is one of the Walla Wallas. They will get way bigger than this, but I put them, all the extras in the garden, so I can just pull some onions earlier in the season and enjoy them young and fresh with the concentrated flavor. So I'm gonna pull a couple of those, one basket too, just because I do want some fresh onions with my dinner. I'm gonna add those to the table. And then I harvested also some Sriracha peppers from my hillside garden. They were, it was a plant that I bought on clearance at a local nursery for a few bucks, and it was loaded with Sriracha peppers on it already, and some of them ripened. So I harvested those. I think my son and I are gonna make a yummy sauce with them. I will definitely be saving all of those seeds from those peppers as well. So yeah, I'll show you everything when I get inside. I'm gonna rinse these off. I have a couple more chore things to do, and then I'm gonna get to clearing out those beds. And so yeah, I have a couple more things to do, chore things. I think I'm gonna steal one of these red onions here too. Again, she is not at her full potential, but I haven't pulled any of the red onions early yet, so I'm gonna pull that as well. So I have 3 onions and my tomatoes here. I'm gonna go put these on the screen porch, and then I'll show you everything that I pulled from the garden together, and then we'll wrap this video up, and then we will be back in my next video. I'll show you those raised beds all cleared out, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what I decided to sow in them. All right, I do need to harvest the raspberries again too. I'll put that in the next video footage, the next harvest video footage, because I'll be harvesting from the garden in here tomorrow. Also on my list today is to sow some seeds. I have a lot of things that I know grow really, really quickly. I'm gonna get them a jump start in these seed pods. I usually save these seed pods for indoor seed starting, but I stocked up on a ton of them, caught a really amazing sale. I buy them in bulk, so I got enough for a couple years. And so I'm gonna go ahead and use these to start this final round of mostly herbs and some greens, so I can have them all together and controlled and protected, most importantly, because the critters are out in their seeds. Some of the seeds I'm sowing, they will definitely eat those seeds. So I'm gonna keep them started in the greenhouse. I'm not in the greenhouse, it's too hot in both of my greenhouses, in my screen porch, and that way I can keep track of them and monitor them. But anyway, here's my harvest for today. So one more patty pan. Love, love, love. As I said, this is my favorite variety of patty pan squash. This one here is that Tatume squash. Bigger than I normally harvest, but that's still gonna be delicious. And then my 4 little turnips, which will get eaten You can see it's hot out, y'all. They wilted, the greens have wilted, but I won't be eating the greens anyway. And then the onions, and then the 3 onions. And these are the Sriracha peppers that I mentioned. Look at these. I'm so excited about these. And so again, I'm gonna be saving all the seeds there. There are 4 little tomatoes, but they are the first tomatoes, but I have so many tomatoes on plants growing, even my big tomatoes. I'm so excited. I'm hopeful for, I've always had great success with tomatoes here. The tomatoes are kind of easy to grow here in Minnesota Zone 4, especially if you pick the right varieties, which I have done research and picked and have great luck with pretty much all the ones that I grow. But anyway, I can't wait for the big ones. I can't wait for just more. I can't wait to have enough tomatoes to make, we love to eat just tomato salads in the summer. And so I can't even wait to get to that point. But it's the second week in July. I am thrilled with this harvest. I'm gonna get this stuff cleaned up and in the kitchen, and then I gotta get back to work to get those beds cleared because I got a lot of food to start. All right, I'll see you guys back here on the channel again soon with some of what I've sown. I have another harvest to do tomorrow, and yeah, we'll see ya. Bye.